Good evening. Welcome to Washington for the second hour of Special Report. I'm Brett Baer. It has become conventional wisdom that, fair or not, if the U.S. government funding is not approved and is forced to shut down many services, Republicans will be blamed. Republicans say that is ridiculous, but concede it is true. It has happened many times before. So with a little more than 4 days left, both the GOP and Democrats are throwing out the first punches in what could be a brutal fight between now and Friday night. We have Fox team coverage tonight. Britt Hume has some analysis on this situation. Mike Emanuel's on Capitol Hill with the congressional perspective, but we start off this hour with correspondent Kevin Corke at the White House. Good evening, Kevin.
Hey there, Brett. Good evening to you. You're right. It's become sort of a rite of spring, right? An annual passage here in the nation's capital. The battle to keep open the government. Now, as you pointed out, the White House and Congress have until the end of the week, Friday midnight, to come to a solution to keep the government funded. And, of course, they're going to try to figure it out, or some departments may simply run out of cash. If they're worried about a possible government shutdown later this week, the Trump White House isn't showing it.
They are currently negotiating. We feel very confident that they understand the president's priorities and that we'll come to an agreement by the end of Friday.
An agreement, that is, with congressional Democrats to at least temporarily fund the government and avoid another shutdown. But with only 52 Republicans and a need for 60 senators to send a bill to the president's desk, both sides appear willing to cut a deal to avoid a fiscal calamity. It's happened before. President George H.W. Bush sent home government workers over the Columbus Day holiday weekend in 1990. Under President Clinton, there was a 5-day shutdown in 1995 and a 3-week shutdown in 1996. And in 2013, the Obama administration endured a 16-day shutdown. This time, the budget battle has 4 major sticking points: how to fund tax cuts, how to temporarily supplement Obamacare, how to fund a border wall with Mexico, and just how much of an increase in defense spending is needed to keep America safe. But it's funding for the border wall that has Democrats up in arms and prepared to shut down the government if they don't get their way.
I hope the president will back off to think that he would consider shutting down the government of the United States of America over this outlandish proposal of a border wall.
I can't imagine the Democrats would shut down the government over an objection to building a down payment on a wall that can end the lawlessness.
As for the president, he took to Twitter to emphasize the need for the multi-billion-dollar project, writing, "The wall is a very important tool in stopping drugs from pouring into our country and poisoning our youth. If the wall is not built, which it will be, the drug situation will never be fixed the way it should be. Hashtag build the wall."
We want our priorities funded, and one of the biggest priorities during the campaign was border security, keeping Americans safe, and part of that was a border wall.
Asked by the Associated Press if he'd sign a budget bill that didn't include the wall he promised, the president said simply, "I don't want to comment. I just don't know yet." Perhaps just a bit of wiggle room there in those comments there, Brett. By the way, I think this is important to point out. Even if Congress and the White House manage to come up with some sort of a solution, it frankly won't buy them a great deal of time. Do keep in mind, a bill would only fund the federal government until the end of fiscal 2017. And as we all know, that's coming up in just a few months on September 30th. Brett?
Kevin Corke live on the North Lawn. Kevin, thank you. The long